Good morning. I want to talk about, I heard this saying that the path knows the way. And there's so much in that simple sentence. The path knows the way. So, on this spiritual awakening journey, the twin flame journey, you are always exactly where you need to be. A lot of times I know that there are different stages on the journey, and in different time points we feel like, well, why couldn't I have just done this, or why couldn't I have just been over that, or why did I take that so hard? um, why can't I just get over this? And every single part of this, if we could have gotten over it, or if we could have done it differently, we would have. And it just goes to show that wherever we are at is detrimental for the awakening, is detrimental as part of the awakening. We have to go through every single stage of this journey in order to rise into our higher selves, or in order to ascend, in order to break out of the constraints of our belief systems that are constraining us or that are defining us, out of our mindsets that aren't serving us anymore. We have to go through every single aspect of our being, every single aspect, and question everything about us, everything around us, everything that we hear, everything that we have learned, everything that we have been conditioned to believe, every experience that we've ever had and made a judgment over. We are going through ourselves, and this takes time. This takes time. And not only does it take time, we have to go through it. You can't be above it and go through it at the same time. So a lot of times after we go through something, we say, well, why did I have to do that? Why couldn't I have just seen it from here, from this vantage point? Well, if we were at this vantage point, then we wouldn't have had to go through the lessons. So in order to overcome things, we have to actually go through them. And we have to actually make the mistakes in order to see them, in order to overcome them. And everything that is in us that is impure, everything that we are purifying through this spiritual awakening, um, I'm trying to think of how to say this because I can see it energetically. Um, every belief that we have within us is sitting in there. There are beliefs that when we go through life, we come into situations and different circumstances that bring up these beliefs. So we have to continue to go through life and continue processing life in order for these beliefs to have a place to interact. And then once they come up and out of us, then we have the opportunity, if we are aware enough in that place, and if we're not in automatic mode, just automatic action, then we have the opportunity to observe. So we have the opportunity to be the experiencer and the observer at the same time, as long as we are able to stay aware and stay as much as possible in the moment, because being aware is being in the moment, not being in the automatic kids ask for something, you just automatically say no without doing that's just one example that I've had. Or putting ourselves in automatic mode, because right now I'm worried about my spiritual awakening, so I can't deal with that right now, so we're on automatic. And connecting those together and bringing everything into into the now is what our work is, really. We have to go through every single part and every single aspect of ourselves. So we can't get ahead or skip over anything. You can't go from 0 to 100. You have to pass through every step and every stage on this journey. Otherwise, you're not purified, right? You can't skip over 99 and get to 100, because it's there's no point in it, right? You have to experience all the pain, and you have to experience all the shedding, and you have to come face to face with yourself, and you have to come face to face with your own fears, and you have to come face to face with beliefs that you have believed that have made up who you are your entire life. And all of a sudden they're coming to the surface, and you're questioning yourself and your own being and everything that you have ever built. You've built buildings on beliefs that are false beliefs that now you're finding, and all of these buildings are just toppling. And it's painful because it also creates a void. There's nothing there now. So there's nothing there. You're creating this place of emptiness. And as we go along the spiritual awakening, also we refuse to put false things back in. So there's also this void that is created that we also have never experienced before, because a lot of our security is based on stuff. Not only stuff around us, our stuff, or, a lot of people, it's just like the hoarding syndrome. They hoard a lot of things. And I also I have gone through stages of, I don't know if it's full, kind of, attachment to belongings and having way too many belongings. And it kind of gives you this security when you have stuff. But in your mind and in your self, you also, there's also a lot of stuff in there that there isn't purpose for. You have people in your lives that already you have outgrown, that don't belong in your lives, or all of these different behaviors and beliefs that you believe that you need to do, that give you a kind of structure, a kind of security. And now, when you're going through the spiritual awakening and you're on this path, then you are losing a lot of this stuff. And it creates a lot of pain. It creates a lot of what would feel like insecurity or chaos, or not even chaos. I think the more stuff you have, the more chaos you feel. But there's a lot of paradoxes. A lot of things that are true, and in the both extremes, they can be true. You can find truth in them within yourself. I always say, when you find a paradox, you found a whole. When you can see both sides of the picture, and both are true at the same time, and both have purpose and belonging, then you found a whole of something. But getting back onto point, we are going through this spiritual awakening, and awakening within ourselves, and I don't even want to say rising. It's more like expanding, because it's into all of the different directions. And it's not only about us. This awakening is a mass awakening. And as we awaken, we start seeing that there are people all around us. This is kind of a combined, when we start seeing our own awakening, we start seeing it in others, and we start realizing that we are in this together. And part of our own awakening is also helping others, is also in the places that we've done the work, we can guide others. There's so many uh, people now that I'm finding online that are in service in this, and they're doing, Kat from Sacred Soul Rising, for instance. I have gone again and again and again to her, and in her videos, and she has calmed me and reminded me, on this journey, a lot of times we lose sight, and we need grounding. And just as we need grounding, we can also ground others. We're kind of, this is an awakening that is also a calling into action. So where I started this is that we're on this path, and the path knows the path, and the path is already written out. Um, whether we, however much we can endure and go straight down the path, then we can get further along in this spiritual awakening. However more we can endure, the quicker, the faster, the broader, the wider. The more we enhance this life experience, the more we ease the pain. Because the pain is in the holding on, it's in the grasping, it's where we're not willing to surrender, it's where we're trying to hold on to our old beliefs, or trying to manipulate outcomes, or trying to control it, or trying to attach the way that we believe things should be on something. That's where the pain is. That's where the pain come. That's where we come into pain, when we're able to be in pure acceptance, which is pure surrender, which is in pure. I'm not saying that we don't want to guide our lives in the path, and become greater, and experience more and more experiences, but trying to grasp and to hold on to the way that things should be not only makes our experience much narrower, because when we are grasping onto something, we're only trying to make it into something that we already know. It's the fear of the unknown. But when we let go, we allow the universe to bring in things that are unknown to us. It's new experiences. It's a broader outlook. Um, it's things that we couldn't have imagined. And whenever we're trying to hold on to an outcome, it's already something that we imagine the way that it should be. Think about all the ways, when you travel the world, when you go into different countries and you see different ways of being and different ways of behaviors and different traditions, you see that there's so many different ways. Even when you just meet your neighbor lives in a completely different world than you live in. And when you are trying to hold on to the life experience and trying to narrow it into what you already know, you are narrowing your life experience into what already was. Rather than when you are open and allowing, and allow the universe to bring, you can use prayer, and you can use um, um, what is the word, when you try to manifest, manifesting methods, but then you have to let go of the outcome, because there are things that are unseen that you do not know. There are a million different ways for things to work out in your favor. Sometimes the universe wants to bring you something way grander and way bigger than you could have ever imagined. And if you're trying to hold on to a certain outcome, you are narrowing the possibilities and the outcome. Um, there are a lot of different ways to get to the same ending. There are a lot of different ways. There is no end, really, but there are a lot of different ways to get to the same outcome. Um, and so when you allow and you let go, and you realize that every single thing that comes into your existence, single thing that comes into your life serves a purpose, and there's a reason why it's there. And the reason typically has something to do with the way you are, where you are on your journey. It's coming to teach you something. It's coming for a reason. And when you start getting really curious about life and start realizing even the things that you perceive as uncomfortable, or the things that you perceive as superb, and you realize that these things all pass, and that there is a reason why this has showed up in my life, and there's some kind of lesson in this for me, then you become really curious, and life becomes really interesting, and everything that comes you're interested in. Even the things that you perceive as painful all of a sudden become like, wow, look at this, what's this, what caused this, how did this come to be, what does this come to teach me, um, what can I learn from this? And on this, on this twin flame journey, whoever's on the twin flame journey, that's a big one. That's a big one, because we go through so much pain. When you're able to just look at that pain and say, okay, wait a minute, there's something here for my soul, and for my expansion, and for my awakening. What is it? And a lot of times, with your mind, these are things that you can't really even figure out. You just have to allow the big emotions to go through you. Um, so wherever you are on this path, and whatever is coming through your reality right now, it serves a purpose. There is a reason for it. The way knows the way. The way knows the way, and that's something that I keep on telling myself. Everything that, if I let go, when I let go, and I allow, I am led to where I need to be. It's just like these videos. I started these videos. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I would be making videos and putting them on, public on YouTube, I would have, I shied away for years and years and years. I shied away from even pictures. I barely have pictures for probably 20 years. I barely have any pictures of me. So if and this was something that I feel like was kind of born out of me. It was something that I didn't really feel like I had a choice, and I needed some kind of I needed to talk about it. I needed to put it out there. I needed to speak about it. And it was kind of born of itself, not something that I could have ever planned or something that I could have ever thought that I would have been doing. It was so when you are in allowance, the way leads you to where you need to be. When you are trying to manipulate the way, that means you're just fighting against your own path, because your path, you're going to be, if you're in a river and you're being flowing down the river is written. Now, you can either fight the river and hold on to the sides and try to tell the river, no, take me that other direction. I'm supposed to be over there. When you really don't even, the more you go along this journey, the more you see that how blind you were in the past and places that now you see. And you can kind of get the relevance where the places that you kind of can find your own blind spots, especially when you're doing meditation. You can see that there are a lot of places that are still blind to us, and in those places, you just need to release and allow and trust and have faith that the path knows the way and the path will take you where you need to be. When you're able to surrender and allow yourself to go with the flow will take you where you need to be, by nature. That your own nature will lead you. The more you purify yourself, the more you come into your true calling. The more you come back to your true self, the more you sit within your soul. Um, and the more you are true to yourself, the more your outside reflects that, and you come into the place where you automatically where you need to be. And that is, it also has to do a lot with trust. You have to trust that it is leading you, and when you that is leading you to where you need to be. And when you are where you need to be, you are the only one in creation that can be that unique you. And when you understand that there is a place for you in the world, that there always was a place for you in the world, that there can't be something in existence that there isn't a need for or a place for. We are as ancient as the earth itself. I mean, we're made of the earth. So we belong here. We breathe the air. We are in constant interaction with our surroundings. We eat food that was also grown from this earth. The plants and the animals, they all have a purpose, and so do we. And when we are able to see that completely and have faith in that and understand that we have right of passage, we have right of existence, we are of divinity, we are of this planet, there is purpose for our own being. We don't need to be anything other than what we are, and understanding what that is, which is the process of this purification that we're going through, this coming back to ourselves, coming back to our authenticity, or coming back to our authentic self, and even trying to understand what that is. A lot of times we don't even know what our authentic self is. We're so covered up with a pile of junk on top of who we are. Pile of junk. It's say it that way, but it's a pile of conditioning that we were conditioned, also by society, also by our parents, also by things that happened to us, belief systems that have been in place for years and years and years and years. Generations before we were even born. The civilization has been evolving, and we were born into something that was already ready made, with schools. And when you really think about it, you look back, this conditioning with schools and things like that is something that's fairly modern. It's only, been a couple hundred years since kids have been ushered out from under their parents at such a young age, so that their parents can feed the machine, the society machine, and that kids can be conditioned to be society, food for society, be conditioned into the society to be I don't know what the word is. I'm looking for the word. It seems like a lot of my words, as I rise spiritually, there's something with the, I lose some of my words to gain other gifts. It feels like. Um, but to condition the next generation, the generation that goes to schools, to be manufacturers for the system, to pump new workers into the system. And we are being conditioned, now as we arise and as we wake up, we can start seeing this more and more clearly, that we're so far away from our nature. And that is what we're doing. We're purifying ourselves. And there is a massive movement, because we, as a society, as a species, we've become so far away from our natural way of being that everything is shaking. That's what's going on in the world now. Is that everything is shaking. All of the system that has been built on it's almost like you build something on faulty ground, and it keeps growing and growing and growing. We've gotten so far away from our nature now that everything is collapsing in on itself. And um, we the people but we the people that are rising, and especially on this twin flame journey, which is like an super fast, super intense, fast spiritual awakening. Not only on the spirit, on not only people on the twin flame journey, it's also people that there's so many people now that are being shaken out of their own lives, especially since the corona and everything that's going on in the world now. Um, that have their whole base of their life has been shaken, and all of a sudden they're thrown into a spiritual awakening. And so there's so many of us now that are leading the way. And that's why it's so important that as we lead, to realize, as we are rising, to realize the importance of also allowing others. When we get to a certain point in this spiritual rising, a certain point in our own path, part of our path is also showing the way, is also putting out the information that we have gained, um, back out into the world, to allow others to it's like adding on to others rising. And it's not being not in a place of being it comes from a place of giving back. It comes from a place of, we are all part of this big puzzle, and we all have something unique to add. And if we are not shining, we have to shine our light out. Part of the spiritual awakening is also shining our own light, our own individual light back out, so that we can legitimatize other people's journeys and show other people that they're not on their own, that there are other people that are going through this, that there are other people that are understanding the same things. Anything that, when we hear truth, we recognize truth. And so when I speak my truth as far as I've understood it, others can recognize their own selves in that truth and see the truth of it within themselves. Part of what I'm speaking about. There's a massive cave here. In a second, I'll take you in there. So it's kind of like giving back. And I think I've spoken enough. I see that I've gone on to many different subjects in this video, and now I'm just going to show you where I'm at. I don't think that you can see the enormity of it. See, there's a bunch of bats up there. I don't think that you can see the enormity of it from this vantage point, but I'll just show you, like, see, there's my shoes, and then how big it is here. So I'm sending you so much love and strength on this journey, and just know that wherever you are at, there is a purpose in it. All of the pain has to be burnt through. Everything that rises has to be gone through, and it's all part of it. And trust that this, whatever it is, it always passes. It comes and it goes. It comes and it goes. And everything that we go through emotionally, those big emotions, and once they pass through, we get the lesson, and then we can move on, and we become stronger for it, and we know what we can endure and how strong we are. We're self-realizing ourselves through that. So I'm sending you so much love, and thank you for watching if you've gotten all the way here. Um, until next time.